Welcome back to the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. My name is Wayne Kimmel, managing partner of 76 Capital, the sports tech venture capital company. And on this show, I get the opportunity to interview top entrepreneurs, athletes, executives who are shaping and many times changing the overall sports, media, and entertainment industry. And you can subscribe to our show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on our 76 Capital website. Today, my guest on our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show is Sam Bakhshandehpour. He is the president and board member for José Andrés Group. And I'm really excited to have a conversation with him about the overall entertainment industry and all the things that they do around the hospitality world as well. And Sam, welcome to our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show.
Thank you, Wayne. Thrilled to be here.
Really excited to have you on the show. It's really amazing, in the world that we invest in across the sports and media and entertainment world, food and hospitality is such a huge part of the overall world that we play in. And I'd love to hear what you and your team does at the José Andrés Group.
No, I appreciate that. And look, I wish I was here talking about my sports career, but second best is the hospitality career. We have the great fortune of serving people, and it's all about entertainment. And, similar to sports and media, you're essentially taking the most precious time that a guest or a viewer is giving you, which is their entertainment hours, and you deliver an experience that hopefully meets and exceeds all expectations. At José Andrés Group, we focus on restaurants. We have a media division that produces content, and we also have a consumer products business as well. That's really our flywheel between restaurants, media, and products.
Well, I'd love to break down those three things, but I got to first mention, my wife and I had an unbelievable dinner at Bazaar Meat at the Sahara in Las Vegas.
Nice.
And, I will never forget the cotton candy appetizer.
Foie gras, yeah.
Foie
gras cotton candy. Well, we need to get you to New York, because at the Bazaar in Ritz-Carlton Nomad, we have foie gras, but we have cotton candy, but instead of foie gras, it's now with avocado and tuna belly. So there's plenty of iterations of that. Can't go wrong with cotton candy.
Absolutely. So maybe, step back and tell a little bit of the history of the overall company, and how it got to be, the size that it is today.
Yeah, I had the great fortune of meeting the company in my prior life when I was CEO of a hotel management business, where we launched, coincidentally, the signature Bazaar concept in our hotel in Beverly Hills, Miami, and Vegas, where you and your wife were visiting at the Bazaar. The company, though, started actually when I was an undergrad at Georgetown 30 years ago. I had heard about this Spanish tapas restaurant opening in Washington, D.C., called Jaleo, in an area called Chinatown, the Penn Quarter. Fast forward, last year we celebrated 30 years. Now I'm sitting in my current seat, not just going there for happy hour. But we met 15 years ago as part of the hotel. And it wasn't really until 4 years ago that Jose and his co-founder, Rob Wilder, asked me to come in-house. My role had evolved from being an operating partner, where I was CEO of the hotel, to an investor, where my business partner, John Wong, and I invested with some family offices to buy back the Bazaar. So we were investment partners with José Andrés Group. And when I came in-house 4 years ago, one of the first initiatives we undertook, we rebranded the business José Andrés Group, as the company really has a bigger mission, purpose, changing the world through the power of food. And we ended up doing what we've done on the expansion side, in-house, running the business, launching a media division, and you've seen the hotel growth over the past couple of years.
Well, you said something that certainly caught my ear. And as you know, here at 76 Capital, we're all about working with smart and nice, passionate entrepreneurs who are trying to change the world. And you talked about changing the world through food. That's a big thing. It's a big deal for us. Talk a little bit about, that part of the overall mission and how you're doing that.
Yeah, listen, it is an incredible mission to have as the North Star, which the end goal, whether it's bringing people around a table to, have a dialogue, enjoy a good bottle of wine and a nice meal, or outside of my purview and completely separate from our restaurant company, Jose and his co-founder Rob Wilder launched an organization called World Central Kitchen that's out there feeding people in disaster relief scenarios, whether they're in war zones or hurricanes. Again, it sets the tone for the overall mission oriented venture that we're a part of. We're on the for profit side, have nothing to do with World Central Kitchen, but I can tell you, having that umbrella of do good as part of the organization means a lot to all of us. We all know that we're striving for something much bigger than what we're doing day to day. It helps us really recruit like minded partners, whether at the restaurant level or in our corporate level. It helps our guests realize that they're part of something much bigger than just delivering an experience, where we're able to be part of an organization that prioritizes walking the walk and doing good and doing well, as part of our overall mission.
You mentioned earlier, the three different areas across the business, and whether it's restaurants, hotels, the media side of things. Talk a little bit about, and if you could sort of share with us, some of the different restaurant brands that you have,
Sure.
as well, and the hotel side, and then what you're doing in media as well.
No, I appreciate that. We are over 20 brands as a company, and I'll highlight a few of the fastest growing ones across 38 properties in 9 markets globally. We just went into Dubai last year with a project with our signature Haleo brand in Atlantis, the Royal. That was the first venture outside of North America. We're in markets here in LA, as you know, Vegas, Chicago, New York, DC, Miami, Orlando. Domestically, we're in the Bahamas as well. We have hotel partnerships with Marriott and Hilton. With Marriott, we're in the Ritz-Carltons in New York and Miami. With Hilton, we're in the Waldorf, DC, and here in LA at the Conrad, where I'm actually sitting outside of Disney Concert Hall. Our fastest growing brands are the Bazaar, which we talked about, which we are now in 6 locations in New York, DC, Chicago, Vegas, LA. We're opening up soon. A couple others, which we'll soon be announcing. And then Zaytinya has been our fastest growing fine dining, but it's approachable fine dining concept, which is Mediterranean nature, Greek, Lebanese, and Turkish. We have Zaytinya in New York at the Ritz in South Beach. The signature one after 20 years is in DC. We're soon opening in Vegas and in Palo Alto in the next couple of years, and more announcements to come. We have mid-price point restaurants in DC, whether it's our Chinese Peruvian concept, our Mexican concept, OML, Chinese Mexican in Vegas, China Poblano. We have a 2 Michelin star restaurant in DC, Minibar, that again won another 2 Michelin stars and continues to deliver incredible experiences. And again, we're the only restaurant company really in the world that focuses everything from fast casual to fine dining and in between and across cuisines. So people think José Andrés Group. José is obviously from Spain, and Spain, whether it's Mercado Little Spain in New York or Haleo, we do have Spanish roots, but we are across cuisine, from Spanish tapas to vegetarian to Chinese Mexican, so on and so forth. Delivering experiences, as Jose always says, I feed the few and the many.
Well, yeah, you're making me hungry. I mean, anyone who's listening or watching the show right now, I mean, not if they're not hungry or excited to go to one of your restaurants, I don't know anything about them, because to me this is amazing. You talked about all these different cities that you were going after. I mean, how do you make that determination? As to, you talked about you have partnerships and you talk about different cities. Is it about the partners that decide where you're going, or you say, look, this is where we want to go, and you look for the right partner to go with?
No, it's a great question, Wayne. We look to go to cities where we can enter the city with humility and be part of the community first and foremost. You know, and you know this in Philly, you can't just show up in Philly and be part of that community. You need to walk the line and make sure that you're respectful of the culture and the history and the DNA of the people. We look for three distinct components to every city we go in. Number one is really community building. That's what we've done time and time again. And entering the fabric and making sure that we hire from within the community, we promote and be part of the culture of the special DNA of each individual community. But being part of that neighborhood is critical. That gives you longevity. So that's kind of the first pillar of expansion that we look to. Will we resonate within that community, and can we be part of the fabric of that community in a respectful manner? Number two is tourism. Tourism is really important, making sure that we will be on the radar of those that drive traffic to the community. And as you know, urban areas, that works really well. Certain suburban markets, that works well. Certain resort markets, that works well, because being a global brand with José Andrés Group, the tourists will always find us when they enter a market. And we want to make sure we deliver that exceptional experience that really gives them that wow factor, and it's unique to that city. And then third is, you know, depending on the real estate type, I mentioned hotels to you earlier. We provide this experiential component of a hotel guest. We will soon be announcing something on the residential side. We also have a partnership with Simon Properties on the retail side, where we're launching in 3 Simon retail centers, lifestyle centers, 2 in Vegas, 1 in Palo Alto. That again, we're a destination for locals. We provide that quote unquote amenity, for a lack of a better term, for the real estate user, whether it's a hotel guest, a guest to the retail centers, or those that live in the complex. But those are really the demographics. And then at the end of the day, Wayne, we're storytellers, and we love regions that have cool stories to tell, and we can localize our experience to the market. And then that's where, to your earlier question, whether it's a restaurant, it's storytelling through a media channel, a podcast like this one, the show that we did that just won an Emmy Award for Jose and his family who are traveling through Spain, books that we're launching with Zaytinya next month, so on and so forth. We're content storytellers, and you can capture that content in our restaurants, through the media channels, or in your home through our consumer products.
I did want to ask you about that TV show and that the Emmy, and you know, what was it like, you know, putting that all together with Jose and creating that and being able to really tell that story so authentically? How did that all come about?
You get this. I've listened to a couple of your podcasts, and I'll make the same comparison as you would appreciate. You walk the walk. You're never talking about something unless you've experienced it authentically. And if you allow your guests to walk in your footsteps through those authentic experiences, good things happen. It's like the restaurant side. We don't open a restaurant. Minibar wasn't open with the intent of getting a Michelin star. Minibar was sharing a story. The show is the same thing. We never in our wildest dreams could have imagined winning an Emmy Award. But literally where I'm sitting, they put that Emmy trophy and they took a picture of it, showcasing what's behind me. The whole point of the story was to share an authentic story of the culinary journey through this incredible country of Spain, 6 stops in 6 different cities, where Jose and his family authentically grew up with these experiences. And it was shedding light on culture and storytelling. There were moments of humor, moments of authentic, you know, emotional, personal stories that were shared. And all that was captured so beautifully in this show that ultimately worked its way onto CNN in this prime time slot where Anthony Bourdain shared stories. May he rest in peace. We did the same thing with that story. And obviously the men and women who were kind enough to award us that Emmy appreciated just how pure that storytelling was. That's how we go about, you know, launching and telling our stories, again, whether restaurants or media they're all the same. They're just medians for us to allow us the opportunity to share those stories with the viewers and the guests.
So what kind of person do you look to hire and into your organization? I mean, are there certain traits or certain kinds of people that you're looking for?
For sure, it starts and ends, Wayne, with the spirit and the passion for the love of people and culinary. Hospitality is about serving people, and it's about making sure that people have that in their DNA, who want to be part of a team that believes in delivering once in a lifetime experiences. And I always use this word: you deliver luxury experiences, and luxury is not price point. Luxury is a feeling, and feeling special. And people who have it in their DNA to serve people, to deliver unique experiences, do it in an authentic manner, and then have this halo of do good, where you realize we have a mission to do more than just what the point A to point B of a luxury experience is. And appreciating that, hey, it's really an unbelievable opportunity to be part of something bigger than you, play for the name across the front of the jersey, José Andrés Group, and be able to deliver those once in a lifetime experiences. Those are our people. It always starts and ends with the spirit and the values.
So, Sam, on our 76 Capital Leadership Show, I love hearing about, the company that our guest is working with, or if it's their company or someone else's company. And you as the president of the José Andrés Group, it's incredible what you're doing, the mission behind it, the success that you've had. But now I'd love to hear your story, some of your background. You touched on it a little bit. It didn't just kind of wake up and become the president of this amazing company, but share kind of your journey and how you got to where you are today.
I appreciate that. I have a very common story in the U.S. I'm an immigrant as well, like Jose, who came out to the U.S. as a young child. I was 6 years old in order to pursue our American dream, and this is my American dream, which has come to life. And it was just taking advantage of opportunity, hard work. I grew up in the D.C. area, diehard Washington sports fan, and have been suffering for a little over 3 decades, who's counting, with my football team, as you know. And I sit here, I went to college at Georgetown. And when I graduated, my journey was really through finance at first, but it was always around real estate, hospitality, gaming, and lodging. I spent 12 years at JP Morgan in the real estate and investment banking group, and love that group, love my mentor, who, is now a partner of ours in our Chicago project. And we've remained close friends. And, JP Morgan was that American dream, especially for my father, who still to this day doesn't understand why I would ever leave JP Morgan to go and become a restaurateur. But I got hired away to become president and CEO of a hospitality business that was in the entertainment sector, that launched a hotel brand that afforded me the opportunity to meet José Andrés, and the rest is history. And, I ran that business working on behalf of the private equity firm that ended up selling the business to another private equity firm. And I launched an investment platform with my partner to focus on experiential entertainment businesses that drove value to real estate. And our first investment was in José Andrés Group by buying the Bazaar. And then 4 years ago, I went back to the dark side of running businesses when I came in-house with one of our investments, to make sure that, we maximize the opportunity for Jose and those investors and our incredible, partners that are the men and women who work for José Andrés Group, and then our guests and people in the community, which our North Star is always to deliver experiences and maximize the value for all stakeholders, our guests, our employees, and ultimately our investors.
You talk about delivering this experience from a real estate perspective, and it's really interesting because my partners and I talk a lot about the idea of the convergence between the physical and digital worlds.
Yep.
We talk about the convergence of the sports world and the entertainment world and the casinos and just how everything's coming together today.
Totally.
So how do you see your world coming together with all these things? I mean, you're doing a lot of these things. I mean, you're bringing media into hospitality. You're bringing, the world, but entertainment and sports. And so where do you see all this going in the future?
Yeah, look, we're same generation. We've actually been very fortunate where we've seen this convergence happen real time. Whereas as a kid, we would sit there with the sports section every day religiously out of the paper, and my dad would complain, "Who's got the sports section?" I'd have it, and I'd be looking at line item by line item, all my favorite players, how they batted, data, standings. You read articles, and you've seen that convergence of TV, real time, paper, all into one now and all the different mediums. Our business and our world, I grew up in the casino and the hotel world, which was really interesting. In the casino world, you know this better than anyone, they would always point to, and this is growing up in the boardrooms of the most incredible casino operators, they would say, our highest margin business is gaming. And this is going back 15, 20 years. Gaming, how do they get people to come and gamble at their casinos? They'd want to make sure that they stayed at their hotel, their significant other went to the spa and retail and shopped at their property. They had the amenities of restaurants and nightclubs, that they ate dinner there. And then ultimately they gambled. And whether it was in Macau or it was in Vegas or Atlantic City or the regional casinos like the ones in your neck of the woods, it was always the same thesis: was maximize the capture of the guest spend to make sure that they never set foot off your campus. We applied this on the hotel side and try to really differentiate when we launched our SLS hotels. It was the same philosophy. It was like, I want you to stay there, I want you to dine there, and I want you to party there. Fast forward, what I'm doing with our company is exactly the same philosophy, but taking it one layer even deeper. It's like, I want Wayne, when Wayne and his wife come, I want you to stay at the Conrad LA Hotel. I'll make sure you have the most incredible dining experience, as well as all of your dining entertainment happens on property. And then as you're leaving, I want you to make sure that that dish that you just ate at San Laurel, that had a history to it, that Spain meets California experience, the gambas, you see the history of that dish, or the paella, you're now seeing that story captured on your phone, watching the show as to the origins of the paella in Valenciana, Jose Andrés and family in Spain. And then as you're on the plane flying it back from LA to Philly, you can hop on the Little Spain consumer site and you purchase the paella kit to be sent to your home. Now that experience has been captured physically on site, where you ate it with your wife, had this incredible experience in our restaurant, in the hotel, in the Conrad Hotel, overlooking Disney Concert Hall. Then you saw the content captured with the storytelling through the media channel, and then the consumer product, by the time you got home, was delivered to your home, that you can now have it with a nice bottle of Spanish wine and hang out with your friends in your home. That's our flywheel and the convergence. It's the same content. The content hub is that paella. It's now captured in three distinct ways.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing the way you think about it, and the experience that you're looking to deliver to your customers and clients is really something special. You think about, as the president of the company, and our 76 Capital show. It's our sports leadership show. So we think about, we always ask leaders, what are the things that you guys, you specifically look for or try to do as a leader of your company? What are some of the important things that really make you the person that you are?
I appreciate that. Leadership's all about empowering your team members and unifying around a common goal. It's really that simple to me. I've been fortunate where I've been able to surround myself with talented men and women who are exponentially better than I am at what they do. And we have, an all-star team of executives around us and an all-star team of partners at the restaurant level that are all good-spirited, well-experienced, and they bought into this common vision, and they've been empowered to be held accountable to deliver results. And as a leader, what I do is I set the strategy with the buy-in of our board, and ultimately Jose Andres is active in our business with respect to strategy, and we all agreed that, hey, we have this unique opportunity to grow our business and deliver these incredible experiences. We all play for the name on the front of the jersey, which is that phrase I used earlier. Doesn't matter what the name is on the back, it's Jose Andres Group. So we've all unified around the strategy, we've recruited the best talent, and we're playing for this name on the front. My role as a leader, once I set the ball in motion, is to maintain calm, because as you know, Wayne, life throws curveballs at you, and they throw things that no matter how much you plan and prepare, you need, as a leader, maintain that calm, that focus, and really give the confidence to the team that we can tackle anything. And we don't have to look too far. And I don't want to bring up, that one word that we try not to say too often from 4 years ago that we had never used in our vocabulary until 4 years ago. But I joke around with our board. I'm like, there was no underwriting to say what we would do in a scenario where our business dropped 98% to survive. But guess what? We did. And we all came out of it stronger, and we all came out of it better. But that's what a leader does, is knows that innately we have the confidence no matter what gets thrown our way. We have the right team members. You keep cool under pressure, and you can work through it. And I'm kind of old school in this, Wayne. It's my job to be the first on the field and the last off the field. And you walk the walk, and you work exponentially harder than anyone else, and you set the tone that people who look to your leader know that, hey, this person is my leader, is demonstrating, setting the tone as to how we need to carry ourselves with professionalism, hard work, and a positive spirit. And if you do all that, hopefully good things will happen. But again, it kind of starts and ends with the team. You're only as good as, your last team member on the team, and making sure that you're hiring people with that right spirit.
Well, Sam, as we start to wind down this episode of our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show, first of all, thank you so much for joining. It's been amazing to hear. Yeah, it's been so much fun, and I look behind you, and it looks beautiful there in LA, and I'm jealous. I got to get out there. It's still cold here in Philly, but
it's cold here too. I think it's only 60 degrees, and the sun's not shining, so we call this blizzard weather.
We'll take it every day over here. But Sam, I mean, I guess as sort of we wrap up here, I'd love to hear from you, what you see in the future. What does the next 5 years look like for you, the company, and where will the overall hospitality industry be? And
I appreciate that, Wayne. Look, I always look to sports and try to take a lot of lessons learned on both leadership and the impact sports has on culture. You can take two people from two walks of life, and you ask them to define their culture, and sports, entertainment, hospitality, music, fashion are always tops of that list. And when I think about hospitality and the evolution of it, it's something that it brings people together, just like sports bring people together. And that's why I love this industry. As I said at the outset, if I couldn't be on your show talking about my sports career, I do take similar lessons learned with hospitality, that you can unite people around a plate of food. What we're going to do is continue this very methodical and thoughtful march of expanding our business globally. We're very fortunate. We have a global brand, and we're in that dialogue with the top hospitality companies in the world. And we want to deliver the best of Jose Andres Group that was established over 30 years to markets, not just domestically, but as we just opened last year in the Middle East, you're going to see more announcements. In Asia, we have partners, my partner who I mentioned, We have an Asian consortium based in Taipei and Hong Kong. There'll be more opportunities in Asia. And then domestically, you'll see a lot more announcements in Florida. We're eyeing additional expansion markets through Texas. A lot more coming up, as I mentioned, in Vegas. Here in LA, we're exploring some expansion opportunities. And then it's really through hotels. We have incredible partners on the hotel side in Hilton and Marriott, and we're going to continue to do more exciting projects, programming, and bringing to life their incredible hotels. With our partners on the retail side, David Simon and the Simon Properties team will do more and more with Simon. And then there'll be other categories of real estate, which we're soon going to announce, namely residential, delivering those experiences into people's homes. And then on the media side, you'll see a lot of storytelling and more content to come. Our next show is going to be on Amazon Prime in mid-March, which is called Dinner Diaries with Jose and his friends. So a lot more excitement, but I'm very grateful to you and having the opportunity to share a little bit about our story, the José Andrés Group, and enjoying the amazing content you folks are putting out at 76 Capital, and love to do this next time over a meal in one of our restaurants.
I couldn't find a better way to do it. That'd be amazing. So much fun to do that. It's been so great having you on the show. I love what you were talking about earlier, being able to serve people and create these luxury experiences for people, and at all different levels. I mean, I totally understand what you're trying to say. I mean, it's such an important thing that you're doing. I love the mission that you have, overarching the whole business, and just the fact that you're going for it and really making things happen on a global scale and doing it the right way is amazing. So thank you again for joining our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show.
I appreciate you, Wayne. Thanks so much for having me on.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.